Hello, I believe we're live on Facebook. Hi, everyone. Thank you very much for joining us. We are celebrating International Women's Day and British Science Week. And we thought, what better way to kick off the celebrations by having a kind of discussion about what we're trying to achieve with the Exeter Science Centre.
So we are the founders and directors of Exeter Science Centre, which is currently a community interest company, hopefully soon a charity, working to create a STEAMM discovery centre in Exeter that's serving the whole region of the Southwest. So yeah, it is a very ambitious project and has been particularly complicated trying to launch all this during a pandemic. But we really just wanted to show you our faces and tell you about what we want to do and how we want you all to be involved. So yeah, we'll just briefly introduce ourselves first, I guess. So Nat, do you want to go first, or?
Can do, yes. So hi, I'm Natalie. I'm one of the founders, and I don't know what to say really. We're going to keep this very casual, by the way, and also we're trying out a new streaming platform, so you'll have to be very patient with us. Yes, I guess maybe shall we give a very brief background as to who we are and what we're doing here. So I am I've been, I suppose, working with the Exeter Science Centre, and we've been trying to create this for the past year and a bit, although really it's been ticking around in the background for maybe a good couple of years. Beforehand, I was working at the University of Exeter. I was a PhD student, and I was studying magnetic materials. So I was doing a lot of kind of theoretical physics to try and understand how waves travel through magnets. Before that, I did an undergraduate at the University of Exeter as well in physics. And before that, I was an engineer actually for a few years. So I've kind of done a few different things on the kind of STEM route, science and engineering. But what I really loved all the way through is communicating science and trying to explain complicated concepts in a really simple way. And also just, I feel like science is so exciting and so interesting that we all kind of need to enjoy it and engage with it. And part of the motivation really for setting up the Science Centre is kind of just a love of science and a real passion for communicating it. I'm going to pass over to Alice. Can you tell us a bit about your background?
Cool, thanks, Nat. So yeah, I was born in Barnstaple in North Devon, and I started really loving science when I was probably about 11, and I decided to study physics and went up to Durham University to study physics, and then stayed on and did a PhD in astrophysics, looking at very distant galaxies, which I absolutely loved. But during that PhD, I realized that one of my big passions was actually communicating the science that I was doing with other people. And I worked with schools a lot and with the general public, and just really loved that part of my job. And then a job came up after my PhD. A job came up in Exeter University, working as the outreach officer for engineering, maths and physical sciences. And I did that for 5 years and absolutely loved it. And during that time, met Natalie, who we did a lot of outreach together, and realised that we had a lot of we had a real shared passion for it, and a real kind of social conscience. Both want to make a difference. Sounds cheesy, but we do. Whatever we do with our lives, we want it to be to make a difference to people. And we both feel strongly that science can do that, that STEAMM can do that. And I don't even know if we've explained what STEAMM is yet, but STEAMM is science, technology, engineering, arts, maths and medicine. So we feel that it just underpins everything we do. It is so fundamental to our culture, to everything. So from when you wake up in the morning, every single thing you do can only be sort of explained or was only made through an understanding of STEAMM. So we're both really passionate about that, and we sat down for lunch one day and realised we had this crazy shared idea of one day starting some kind of science centre. And Natalie said, like, well, everyone has to start somewhere. Like every science centre started somewhere. So yeah, and then the organisation was born, and yeah, we've had a great time. It's just working together and building up a board of really enthusiastic and committed trustees and advisors and volunteers, and we're just so enjoying the varied, crazy journey that we're having. It hasn't been the easiest thing doing it during pandemic, but mostly from the perspective that it's hard to connect with people in the way that we want to. At the moment, we are an organisation working both on trying to build an actual building, obviously, to house ourselves, but and to house all the wonderful STEAMM activities and research and industry and practitioners in the region. But we also, a big part now and later, once we have a building, is to do science communication, to reach out into communities and connect people with the amazing STEAMM research and industry that is all around us. So yeah, we're very passionate about that, and we're trying to make it happen, but we need you guys. So so yeah, sorry, Nat, I've gone on for
It's fine. You're just super passionate about it. I can tell, because whenever you get really excited about it, you just have to tell all the details, and there's so much to
turn completely red like a beetroot. So, yeah.
Well, I think the thing that we struggle, certainly I struggle with, whenever we're talking about the project, is trying to communicate the whole breadth of what we want to achieve and kind of what we're working on and things like that. So I hope that it isn't coming through as too confusing for everyone, but we have loads of information about what we're trying to achieve on our website. And in fact, we actually have our full business plan on there. So, if you're really interested, you can read basically all of our thoughts on that. And the reason that we're doing that and being so open source about everything is because, first of all, so that we get a bit of feedback from people. I mean, we're totally open to constructive scrutiny, and we're also very keen that people can have a say and give us advice and things like that as well. But also, hopefully, when we're a bit further down the line and we've actually have an organisation that we've created that's doing great things, and we have a building that we've created, hopefully, and doing amazing science centre activities, that we can kind of maybe this can be a blueprint, an exemplar, if we can get that far, to kind of for other people to emulate what we're doing, because we feel that there's a lot of things. This is a scientific approach, really. We're very keen to be open source about what we're doing, very clear, transparent, and charitable. So part of what we think as a charity, it's really important to be clear about what you're doing, what you're trying to achieve, and what you're up to. So so this is kind of part of the reason why we thought we'll just have a chat on here now, because then feel free, by the way, to ask us questions and post things in the comments if you've got any questions that we can cover. But I suppose we'll kind of give a little bit of an insight into what we're working on at the moment, and then we'll kind of go from there. We'll probably talk for about 10-15 minutes or so. We won't keep you too long, because I know it's probably dinner time. But heck, you can all eat your dinner, and we'll just do the talking. I don't know what's next on our list, Alice. What should we go into now? Should we kind of explain what we're working on at the moment?
Yeah, I was also going to say about STEAMM. I mean, hopefully most people have heard of STEM being talked about a lot, often just written as STEAM, which is science, technology, engineering, maths. Medicine is now traditionally included as well, which is great, and should be. And now there's a movement towards including the arts as well. And I think so that's something that is really important to us. Arts are often talked about as being part of our culture, but STEM isn't, and actually they're both integral parts of our culture, and it's always bothered us that there's this sort of dichotomy between sciencey people who are logical and then creative people who are arty and that dichotomy doesn't exist. Innovation is only ever born from a combination of the two. So we really want to highlight that you need both, and most people hopefully have both in them, and yeah, I think we've both the art industry and art practitioners and STEM practitioners, we have a lot to learn from each other, and so we really hope that our organisation and the eventual centre will be somewhere that does bring together those people, and really sort of creative, productive relationships. So
The thing I really like about STEAM and the whole kind of, artists and scientists kind of working together, really, not necessarily, on a day-to-day basis, but kind of giving a bit of meaning to the science and vice versa, learning what the priorities should be. I kind of feel like artists and scientists are just trying to do the same thing in a way. They're both trying to understand the universe and make sense of it. Scientists go through one method to do that, and artists and creatives kind of go through another path. So I think it could just make for a really exciting and interesting kind of community of people. So we're also taking a lot of inspiration from the Exploratorium in San Francisco. This amazing kind of STEAMM Science Centre, who have an artist in residence, and they work on really cool, creative installations. So yeah, I mean, I don't know whether we should talk about the building yet. It's something that's always on our minds because we're really excited about it. But yeah, I don't know. Where should we go from here, Alice? Shall we talk about what we're?
I guess we can talk about what we're sort of doing at the moment. People are probably
curious. Wondering what we're
doing. What are you doing? So yeah, we are trying to get a building. So we are trying. Yes, that is the sort of the fundraising for that is going to have to be a big part of what we're doing eventually, and working with the public to know what they actually want to be in there, both practically, to make it a functional, inclusive, accessible building for everybody, but also what do you actually want to see in there? What are you interested in? What's relevant in your life from a STEAM perspective? And we haven't mentioned this yet, but really fundamental to what we want to do is to get people to see the relevance of global issues within their own lives and to feel optimistic about them. Often when we see global issues such as climate change being the really big one, and also coronavirus obviously being quite a big one at the moment. So often when we see that, we just feel gloomy and we can't see a way out. And actually, we all have a huge role to play in tackling these things. And we want to highlight that the scientists and the STEAM practitioners in our area are doing some amazing things towards tackling those global issues. And I don't know how aware people even are about that. I mean, the Met Office has a huge number of authors on the IPCC report, which is basically the kind of UN understanding of climate change and how we can deal with it. And Exeter is the kind of big player in that. And that's just, we should be so proud of that. We also have quite a big role in the space industry in the Southwest. And people just, I don't know how, I mean, to be honest, before I started all this, even I wasn't aware of how awesome the Southwest is for all this. So we should be really proud and we want to highlight it. So yeah, I think, oh, sorry, someone's saying something. What are your goals to create a fun environment for people to learn science? Well, thank you, Gavin, for that question. So I think a big part of it is working with people the whole way along. So understanding what they want, combining, as we said, combining arts with all the exhibits and making it a really experiential place for people. We hopefully will build that kind of atmosphere in the activities that we can deliver before we even have a building. We want people to understand kind of the feel of what it will be beforehand. But Nat, have you got anything more to add on?
Yeah, I suppose kind of picking up on what you were saying about the experientialness about it. So we're really keen. So for those of you who are watching, thanks very much. There's a few of you who've tuned in. So we love science centres, and there are many of them across the UK. There's a massive gap in the southwest. I mean, the nearest one to us is We the Curious in Bristol. And of course, that's a kind of couple of hours drive from Exeter, and certainly even less accessible to North Devon and further south than us. We've also got the Eden Project and the National Marine Aquarium in Plymouth. So there are some science centres, but very specialised in what they do. So we're trying to create a generalised science centre. And science centres have this kind of hands-on approach to learning science. So you don't just go in and things are kind of behind glass and you just read stuff. You actually get hands-on and you try things and you use pulleys and you push things and you learn through doing. I think that's a really important part of a science centre. And a lot of science centres around the UK are just so inspiring and so exciting. Sometimes they tend to be focused towards young people, and of course that's really important because young people are kind of the future and future scientists. But what we're trying to do a little bit differently is to have kind of an approach of trying to reach out to people of all ages and backgrounds and interests, and try to make a kind of real experience for them to come in. So what we imagine with the buildings, we have to lead onto the building this is the amazing science centre that we want to create, even though we're actually acting as a science centre without the building at the moment, being the organisation. But in the building, I mean, we want to have a kind of glorious green-walled, amazing space that you kind of walk past, maybe on the high street or something, and you can't help but look at it and think, wow, this is amazing. You see birds flying in and out of it because they're nesting in there, and there's insects buzzing around, and it would be just a really great kind of how cities should be, great for nature and great for people. And, so buildings as part of that should be a really, really beautiful and a wildlife friendly part of it. So what we hope is that we'd have people outside the front of the building and kind of in the streets doing science busking experiments and things. So that basically means kind of fun little things to get you excited about what you might find inside. So we'll have kind of science demos and people to talk to. That is a really important part of what we're trying to create, because we think that, just by going in and like, playing with stuff and pushing buttons, you can kind of just walk away and think, oh, okay, that was fun. I kind of learned something. But if you talk to someone, if you're engaged, then you can learn in a totally different way and think about things in a totally different way. So we'll have lots of people to talk to. There'll be these amazing hands-on experiments and things that you can try out. But also it'll be creative and experiential. So what we're hoping basically is you go in, you try things, you talk to people, you experience things, and you come out feeling like, wow, I've learned loads of stuff, and I feel like I can go out and change the world, and I'm going to go and investigate this charity that I saw. They're doing cool things to save the rainforest. I'm going to look them up and get involved. Or maybe you kind of hear about some amazing research that's going on locally and they want your point of view. So you get in touch with them, you do some citizen science with them. So we kind of want to create this experience for the visitors, but also we want to have like a really ongoing connection with people and the community. I think that's really, really important. We're seeing some comments on our thing. We're really grateful of you sending these through. Alice, I don't know, perhaps you want to answer one of those.
Yeah, we've got there's nice comments from someone saying that they love combining art and movement into science lessons. I totally agree. I did a year working in a lovely school in the northeast, and really embarrassed the kids by dancing for them to pretend to be various states of matter. Doesn't go down too well with year 10s getting them to dance, but I enjoy it. But yeah, I totally agree. States of matter, yeah, absolutely. And science buskers, yeah. I was a science busker for the Institute of Physics for a couple of years, and it's great fun just doing mad things at festivals. Yeah. So at the moment we are fundraising mostly through we're applying for grants for specific outreach projects to kind of give people a feel of what the Science Centre will be all about, and to just connect people up already with the amazing STEAMM practitioners in our area. So we will be doing a pop-up in August at Make Tank, which is funded by the STFC, and we will be doing a series of sort of live, kind of like live field trips for schools. So at a time when kids can't go very easily to on field trips, and also to some places that kids can't ever go, we will help to connect them up with proper engineers in those facilities. So we're particularly focusing on waste management places and energy production locations. So this week we're going to an energy from waste facility in Plymouth. I say going to, we are facilitating a virtual tour for some schools, which is great. And we'll be going to various other locations around the Southwest, because the Southwest is really amazing for renewable energy, really a leader in the country in renewable energy, and we want to highlight that and connect people up with the people actually working on it and designing it. So yeah, that's one of the projects. And yeah, we're applying for various other sort of pots to do specific outreach projects like that, whilst trying to build our team and trying to get somewhere with actually building the building. so yeah, that's kind of where we're at. Yeah, I'm trying to think what we were thinking of talking about. But yeah, I think our motivation, I was going to talk about motivations, and I guess we've covered that really, but we're passionate about this area, we're passionate about science, and I think it's so important to have, we don't expect or want everybody to want to be a scientist. It's great fun, but we really, it's just, if you have a basic understanding of science and maths, and including the whole, I use science as a broad brush term for the whole of STEAM, but if you have an understanding of that, then you can make better informed decisions. When you see fake and misleading news, you can read into it and think, no, come on, I know better than that. And it's just so important that everybody has access to that level of knowledge, that just basic level of knowledge in science, so that they can make informed decisions. And those decisions can have huge impact on their own lives and the lives of others. So that's kind of a big driver for us, that we just want everybody to have access to it. And a lot of people would not choose to access the Science Centre. I think a lot of families would often choose to come to one because it's a great day out for the kids kind of thing. But we don't want it just to be that. We want it to be somewhere that is a genuinely useful hub for the whole area, and where communities feel they can use the building and feel included in the building and all the activities that we run. Running things like repair cafes and helping to upskill people, and just being a great fun place where people feel that they can actually talk face to face to scientists and build up a passion for it, like we have. And yeah, sorry, I get overexcited and talk too much.
Well, I'm aware we've got so much to say, but we've been going for about 22 minutes now.
Sorry,
so I know, goodness. Probably we're going to stop there. But if you have any final questions, post them in the comments. And I suppose we'll just round off to kind of say what we're up to this week. So it is British Science Week, and we're going to be kind of sharing various things on social media, but also we're going to have a number of guests joining us for more Facebook Live sessions each day on the themes of the various areas of STEAM. So it's Tech Tuesday tomorrow, and we're absolutely delighted to be joined by Chris Sum from Tech Exeter, who'll be telling us about Tech Exeter and all the amazing tech things that are going on in the Southwest. And we'll have more to announce during the week. We're also, as Alice mentioned, we're doing this kind of live educational broadcast on Friday. So hopefully we'll be able to post something about that next week, and have some kind of live videos that you can see afterwards. Yes, and also, so I suppose we've kind of alluded to this, and we've discussed it a little bit. Alice has definitely gone into it, but kind of the community input of this project is hugely important to us, and it's been totally hindered by COVID because we can't actually see any of you in person. That's really sad. So what we're hoping for is that basically once we're all allowed out again, we'll be able to, we've got a pop-up in August, fingers crossed, and we'd love to kind of talk to you in person and basically get your views for what you want to see in the Science Centre. In the meantime, we do have a kind of questionnaire that we'd love you to fill in. It's on our website, and we'll probably post a link in the comments as well. And yeah, it's just really important for us that it isn't just kind of our crazy ideas, down on paper. At the moment it is, just because it's kind of challenging to do it any other way. But once also we have some ideas to kind of put forward and say, what do you reckon? And help us make it better and help us improve it, because we're genuinely we genuinely want it to be kind of co-created with everybody. We want your input. So I think everyone's gone quiet in the comments. You've probably all gone off for dinner and things. So we should probably leave it there. So
I will say, if anybody has anything they want to say to us or contact us about, please do get in touch. You know, even if it's just saying, we had someone get in touch asking that we made sure we had a specific type of toilet in the centre, and that sounds silly, but that's really important to us, that we know that that's necessary. So please just get in touch, and we want to know your views, whatever they are, and yeah, would love to hear from you. So yeah, you can find all our contact details on the webpage and loads more information. So please do check it out.
Yeah,
and if we said, it's exetersciencecentre.org.
Yes, yeah, that's right. So you can find the links on the Facebook thing, but it's exetersciencecentre.org, and of course you can send us messages on Facebook or Twitter or anything else. We look forward to hearing from you. Thank you all so much for tuning in and watching, and thanks for the comments. Take care.
Take care. Bye.